Hey Taurus, I need to share something with you that came through in the cards this weekend, and honestly, it is such a profound shift in energy that I had to sit with it for a while before even talking about it. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, because what I am about to walk you through is going to explain so much about what has been happening behind the scenes with someone who really messed up when it came to you. You know how sometimes you just feel like the universe is trying to tell you something? Like you can sense these energetic shifts happening around you even when you cannot see what is going on physically? That is exactly what has been coming through for you, Taurus. And it all centers around this one person who truly did not value what they had when they had you in their life. And now things have completely turned around in a way that they never saw coming. So let me walk you through what the cards revealed, because this reading was honestly one of those moments where I had to pull the cards multiple times just to make sure I was seeing this correctly. The energy was just that strong and that clear. We are going to go deep into what has been unfolding, what this person is actually going through right now, and what this all means for your path forward. And I have got to tell you, the cards did not hold back on showing me exactly what kind of emotional upheaval this person is experiencing. Before we dive into the first card, I just want you to understand something. This reading is not about revenge or schadenfreude or anything like that. This is about understanding the natural consequences that unfold when someone fails to recognize genuine value. This is about you seeing clearly what happens when people take authentic connection for granted. And most importantly, this is about you understanding your own worth in a way that maybe you have been struggling to fully embrace. All right, so the first card that came out, and this one honestly set the tone for this entire reading, was the Page of Swords. Now, when I pulled this card in this context, I immediately understood we were dealing with someone who thought they were being so clever. The Page of Swords represents that energy of thinking you are smarter than everyone else, believing you can manipulate situations to your advantage, operating from this space of mental games and strategic positioning. This person genuinely believed they had you all figured out, Taurus. They thought they knew exactly how much they could get away with, exactly how far they could push things, exactly how long they could keep you on the hook while they explored other options or kept their options open, or whatever justification they told themselves. What is really interesting about the Page of Swords showing up here is that this card also represents communication and messages, but from an immature perspective. This person was probably sending you mixed signals, saying one thing but doing another, making promises they had no real intention of keeping. They were operating from this space of intellectual arrogance, where they genuinely believed they were playing the game better than you. They saw your genuine emotions, your authentic feelings, your real investment in the connection, and they thought that made you weak or naive or easy to string along. They completely misread your kindness for foolishness and your patience for lack of options. The thing about the Page of Swords energy is that it is all about thinking you are 10 steps ahead when really you are just creating a house of cards that is destined to collapse. This person was so busy being clever, so focused on their strategic positioning, so caught up in their mental chess game, that they completely failed to recognize something crucial. They failed to understand that you were not playing a game at all. You were being real. You were showing up authentically. You were offering something genuine. And while they were busy thinking they were outsmarting you, they were actually just outsmarting themselves right out of something valuable. What the Page of Swords is showing me here is that this person approached your connection from a space of ego and intellect rather than heart and authenticity. They were calculating, measuring, weighing their options, keeping scorecards in their head. Every interaction was filtered through this lens of what they could get versus what they had to give. Every moment was analyzed for strategic advantage. They were so busy thinking about the game that they forgot they were dealing with a real human being with real feelings who was offering them something real. And here's where it gets really interesting, Taurus. The Page of Swords also represents news, messages, and information coming to light. What this card is telling me is that this person is now starting to hear things. They are getting messages. Information is reaching them about how you have moved on, about how you are doing better without them, about how you have leveled up in ways they never anticipated. And every piece of information they receive is like a little knife, because it is forcing them to confront the reality that they completely misjudged the situation. They thought you would always be there, always be available, always be willing to accept whatever crumbs they decided to throw your way. The news they are receiving now is shattering that illusion completely. The Page of Swords in this position is also showing me that this person cannot stop themselves from seeking out information about you. They are checking your social media, asking mutual friends about you, looking for any sign of what you are doing and how you are feeling. And every time they do this, every time they seek out this information, they are confronted with evidence that contradicts everything they believed. They thought you would be devastated. They thought you would be stuck. They thought you would be diminished by their absence. Instead, they are discovering that you are flourishing, that you are growing, that you are becoming more of who you truly are without them holding you back. What I am seeing with this Page of Swords energy is someone who is now desperately trying to gather intelligence, trying to figure out what went wrong with their calculations, trying to understand how they ended up on the losing side of a game they thought they were winning. The mental gymnastics this person is going through right now would be almost comical if it were not so tragic. They are replaying every interaction, reanalyzing every decision, trying to pinpoint the exact moment where their clever strategy backfired on them. And the more they think about it, the more they realize just how badly they miscalculated. The Page of Swords is telling me that this person's own mind has become their prison. They cannot stop thinking about you. They cannot stop analyzing what happened. They cannot stop torturing themselves with all the what ifs and could have beens. The very intellectual capacity they were so proud of, the strategic thinking they thought made them superior, has now turned against them. Their mind just keeps showing them, over and over again, exactly what they lost and exactly how their own cleverness led to their downfall. Now, the second card that came through was Justice. And oh, Taurus, when this card appeared, I actually got chills, because the symbolism here is just so perfect, so exact, so undeniably clear about what is happening. Justice is the card of cosmic balance, of universal law, of everything coming back around exactly as it should. This is the card that says you cannot escape the consequences of your actions. You cannot outrun the energy you put into the world. You cannot avoid the natural balancing that must occur when scales have been tipped unfairly. What Justice is showing me in this reading is that the universe has been keeping track this whole time. Every moment where this person dismissed you, every time they took you for granted, every instance where they chose their ego over genuine connection, every occasion where they made you feel less than, every single thing they did that was unfair or unkind or dismissive has been recorded in the cosmic ledger. And now? Now the balance is being restored. Not because you asked for it, not because you are seeking revenge, but simply because that is how universal law works. What goes around comes around. Energy seeks equilibrium. The scales must balance. The Justice card is telling me that this person is experiencing a level of emotional reckoning that they never saw coming. They are being forced to face, really face, the full weight of their actions. They are being confronted with the reality of what they threw away. They are feeling, perhaps for the first time, the actual impact of their choices. And this is not some superficial realization. This is not them just casually thinking, oh, I guess I messed up. This is a deep, soul-level understanding that is hitting them in waves, that is keeping them up at night, that is fundamentally changing how they see themselves. What is really powerful about Justice appearing here is that this card represents truth coming to light. All the lies they told themselves, all the justifications they created, all the stories they spun to make their behavior acceptable in their own minds, all of that is crumbling. They cannot hide from the truth anymore. They cannot pretend they were justified in how they treated you. They cannot convince themselves that they were the victim or that circumstances were beyond their control or any of the other narratives they constructed. The truth is standing in front of them, undeniable and unavoidable, and that truth is this: they had something real, something valuable, something rare, and they destroyed it through their own choices. Justice is also showing me that this person is now on the receiving end of the exact energy they put out. Remember how they made you feel unsure, uncertain, like you were not quite enough? They are feeling that now. Remember how they kept you in limbo, never fully committing, but never fully letting go? They are in that space now, stuck in their own limbo of regret and longing, with no resolution. Remember how they acted like they had all the power, all the control, all the options. That power dynamic has completely reversed, and they are feeling powerless in a way that is utterly devastating to them. The sword that justice holds is double-edged, and this person is feeling both edges right now. One edge is the cut of recognizing what they lost. The other edge is the cut of understanding that it was entirely their own fault. There is no one else to blame. There are no external circumstances to point to. There is no bad luck or bad timing to hide behind. This is purely the consequence of their own actions, their own choices, their own failure to value what was in front of them. And that realization, that understanding that they are solely responsible for their own loss, is one of the hardest truths a person can face. What justice is revealing here is that karma is not some far-off concept or some mystical, maybe someday possibility. Karma is happening right now, in real time, in ways that are undeniable. This person cannot escape it. They cannot rationalize it away. They cannot numb themselves to it. Every time they close their eyes, they see what they lost. Every time they think about moving forward, they are pulled back to thoughts of you. Every time they try to convince themselves they made the right choice, reality slaps them with evidence to the contrary. The scales are balancing, and they are feeling every single ounce of that rebalancing. Justice is also about legal contracts and binding agreements, and what I am seeing here is that this person made an unspoken contract with the universe when they entered into connection with you. They received genuine care, authentic emotion, real investment. The universal contract says that when you receive something genuine, you honor it. When someone gives you their real self, you treat that with respect. This person violated that contract in every possible way. And now, justice is here to collect on that breach. The universe is saying, you did not hold up your end of the agreement, so now you pay the price. The beautiful thing about justice, though, is that it is not just about punishment. It is about balance and fairness and things being made right. What this card is telling me is that while this person is experiencing their consequences, you are simultaneously being elevated. The same cosmic force that is bringing them low is lifting you higher. The same universal law that is making them face their losses is bringing you gains. You are being compensated, in a sense, for everything you went through. The pain you experienced, the confusion you endured, the disrespect you tolerated, all of it is being balanced out by blessings and opportunities and growth that is coming your way now. Justice wants you to understand something crucial, Taurus. You do not need to do anything to make this happen. You do not need to seek revenge or try to make them suffer or put energy into wanting them to feel bad. Justice is an impersonal force. It is not about your feelings or desires. It is simply the natural order of the universe restoring balance. Your job is not to focus on their downfall. Your job is to focus on your own rise, your own healing, your own forward movement. The universe is handling the karmic rebalancing all on its own. Trust that process. The third card that appeared was the Six of Cups. And when this card came out, I have to tell you, my immediate thought was, oh, they are absolutely drowning in nostalgia right now. The Six of Cups is the card of memories, of looking back to the past, of romanticizing what once was, of being pulled into reminiscence so strongly that it almost feels like you are living in the past rather than the present. This person is not just thinking about you occasionally, Taurus. They are fully immersed in memories of your connection. They are replaying every good moment, every sweet interaction, every time things felt easy and natural and right between you. What the Six of Cups is revealing is that this person is experiencing a profound sense of loss for something they once took for granted. When you were actually in their life, they did not fully appreciate what they had. They were probably distracted, probably taking things for granted, probably assuming you would always be there. But now that you are gone, now that the connection has ended, they are seeing everything through completely different eyes. All those moments they barely acknowledged at the time are now precious memories they would give anything to experience again. All those gestures they brushed off as ordinary are now extraordinary in retrospect. All the love you showed them that they received so casually is now painfully absent, and they feel that absence in every moment. The Six of Cups often represents innocent love, pure connection, relationships that felt simple and genuine before complications entered the picture. What I am seeing is that this person is now recognizing that what you offered them was exactly that kind of rare, uncomplicated, genuine connection. There was no hidden agenda with you. There were no games on your end. There was no manipulation or strategy. You were just being authentically yourself, offering authentic care, creating authentic moments of connection. And they completely failed to recognize how rare that actually is. Now they are looking back, and they are seeing everything with such painful clarity. They remember your laugh in a way they did not fully hear it at the time. They recall your kindness in a way they did not fully receive it when it was happening. They are feeling the warmth of your presence in a way they took completely for granted when you were actually there. The Six of Cups is showing me that this person is literally haunted by positive memories, which is such a unique kind of torture. They are not being tormented by bad memories or traumatic experiences. They are being tormented by the memory of goodness, of sweetness, of genuine care that they had and lost. What is really striking about the Six of Cups in this reading is that it often represents a desire to return to the past, to go back to how things were, to recapture something that has been lost. This person would give anything to turn back time right now. They would give anything to have another chance, to do things differently, to treat you the way you deserve to be treated from the beginning. They are experiencing this deep, aching wish that they could somehow rewind and make different choices, treat you better, value you properly, show up in the way they should have shown up all along. The Six of Cups is also the card of childhood and innocence. And what this is telling me is that this person now realizes that your connection represented something pure that they have not found anywhere else. In a world full of games and strategies and people protecting their hearts and keeping scorecards, you offered something refreshingly real. You showed up with open-hearted authenticity. You were not trying to play hard to get or make them chase you or any of those manipulation tactics. You were just genuinely interested, genuinely caring, genuinely present, and in their immaturity, in their lack of wisdom, they mistook that genuine quality for something less valuable than it actually was. Now, the Six of Cups is showing me that this person is being forced to compare every new interaction, every new potential connection, every new person they encounter against the memory of what they had with you. And nothing measures up. Nothing even comes close. They are discovering that genuine, authentic, uncomplicated care is actually incredibly rare in this world. They are learning that most people do play games, do have agendas, do protect themselves behind walls, and they are realizing, too late, that what you offered was a gift they were too immature to recognize. The children in the Six of Cups imagery are often seen as representing innocence and purity of intention, and what I am getting is that this person now understands that your intentions were always pure. You were not trying to trap them, or change them, or control them. You were not keeping a tally of what they owed you. You were not building a case for why they should be with you. You were just genuinely enjoying the connection, genuinely caring about them as a person, genuinely open to whatever naturally unfolded between you. That kind of egoless engagement is so rare, and they completely failed to value it. The Six of Cups in this position is also telling me that this person is experiencing regret in a very particular way. It is not just, I wish I had made different choices. It is I had the exact thing I was looking for. And I did not even realize it at the time. They might be out there searching for connection, for meaning, for someone who really gets them, for a relationship that feels easy and natural. And all the while, they are carrying the memory of having had exactly that with you and throwing it away. That is a special kind of heartbreak, realizing you already found what you are still looking for. What the Six of Cups wants you to understand, Taurus, is that you gave this person some of the best moments they may ever experience in their life. Not because you were trying to or because you had some agenda, but simply because authentic connection creates beautiful moments naturally. Those memories are now treasures that this person carries with them. But instead of being sources of joy, they are sources of pain because those moments are gone and cannot be recaptured. Every sweet memory is now a reminder of what they lost. Every positive interaction you shared is now evidence of their failure to appreciate what was right in front of them. Moving into the fourth card, we have the Wheel of Fortune. And this is where things get really interesting because the Wheel of Fortune is all about cycles, about turns, about things coming full circle, about ups and downs, and the constant rotation of life circumstances. When this card appears in a reading about someone who did not value you, it is telling us that their luck has officially run out. The wheel has turned, and they are no longer in the elevated position they thought they held. The Wheel of Fortune is one of those cards that reminds us that nothing stays the same forever. Whatever is up will eventually come down. Whatever is down will eventually come up. The person who is winning today might be losing tomorrow. The person who is suffering today might be thriving tomorrow. It is the natural cycle of existence, the constant turning, that ensures no state is permanent. And what this card is revealing in your situation is that this person had their moment at the top of the wheel. They had the power. They had the options. They had you interested and invested while they got to play the field or keep their distance or explore other possibilities or whatever they were doing. They were riding high, feeling good about their position, confident in their control. But the wheel never stops turning, Taurus. That is the whole point. And now it has turned in a big way. This person is no longer at the top looking down. They are tumbling down the wheel, losing their footing, losing their control, losing their sense of superiority and power. Everything that made them feel secure in their position has shifted. The dynamics have changed. The power balance has inverted. The sense of having all the options and all the time and all the control has evaporated. They are in free fall, and they are only just beginning to realize how far they have fallen. What the Wheel of Fortune is showing me is that there was a specific turning point, a moment when everything shifted. Maybe it was when you finally walked away. Maybe it was when you stopped responding to their breadcrumbs. Maybe it was when they saw you thriving without them. Maybe it was when they realized you had genuinely moved on. Whatever the moment was, that was when the wheel completed its turn. That was when their luck changed. That was when karma kicked in with full force. And since that moment, things have been spiraling for them in ways they cannot control and cannot reverse. The Wheel of Fortune often represents fate and destiny. And what this card is telling me is that it was actually their destiny to lose you. Not because the universe is cruel, but because they were not ready for what you represented. They were not mature enough, not evolved enough, not healed enough to properly receive and reciprocate genuine connection. The wheel turned them away from you, not as punishment, but as a necessary part of their life journey. They needed to lose something real in order to learn what real actually means. They needed to experience this kind of profound regret in order to grow into someone who might someday be capable of valuing authenticity. The Wheel of Fortune is also about luck and chance and random events, but what I am seeing here is that there was actually nothing random about what happened. They made specific choices. They took specific actions. They treated you in specific ways. And all of those specific decisions led to this specific outcome. They might want to believe they were just unlucky, or the timing was wrong, or circumstances conspired against them. But the truth is that the wheel turned precisely because of their behavior. They set this cycle in motion themselves. They are not victims of bad luck. They are experiencing the natural consequences of their own energy. What is really powerful about the Wheel of Fortune in this reading is that it is showing me this person cannot stop the momentum of what they set in motion. The wheel is turning and they are on it, whether they like it or not. They cannot jump off. They cannot reverse direction. They cannot go back to how things were. They have to ride this cycle all the way through, which means they have to fully experience the loss, fully feel the regret, fully understand what they destroyed. There are no shortcuts through this lesson. There are no easy ways out. The wheel turns at its own pace, and they are going to be in this downward cycle for a while.
The Wheel of Fortune is also reminding you, Taurus, that while they are experiencing the downward turn of the wheel, you are experiencing the upward turn. The same rotation that is bringing them low is lifting you higher. Your luck is changing for the better in direct proportion to theirs changing for the worse. This is not coincidence. This is the natural balancing of energy. They lost their position of power and comfort, which means that power and comfort have transferred to you. They lost their sense of having options and control, which means options and opportunities are now flowing to you. The wheel does not just turn for one person. When it turns, it affects everyone connected to that situation.
What the Wheel of Fortune wants you to understand is that you are now entering a lucky phase, a period where things are going to start falling into place for you in surprising ways. Opportunities are going to appear. The right people are going to show up. Circumstances are going to align in your favor. You are being lifted by the same cosmic force that is bringing them down. So while they are stuck in their regret and their memories and their painful recognition of what they lost, you are moving into a period of expansion and growth and new possibilities that would not have been available if you were still stuck in that connection with them. The fifth card is the Hanged Man, and when this card appeared, I immediately understood we were dealing with someone who is completely stuck, totally suspended, absolutely frozen in a place they cannot escape. The Hanged Man is the card of being in limbo, of forced pause, of not being able to move forward or backward, of hanging in an uncomfortable position with no relief in sight. This person is not just sad about losing you, Taurus. They are trapped in that sadness. They are suspended in their regret. They are hanging in a state of emotional paralysis that they cannot break free from. What the Hanged Man is revealing is that this person has realized the truth of their situation, but that realization has not freed them. Instead, it has trapped them. They understand now what they lost. They see clearly what they threw away. They recognize their mistakes. They grasp the magnitude of their failure to value you. But that understanding does not lead to resolution or closure or moving on. Instead, it just leaves them hanging in this awful space of knowing exactly what they did wrong, while being completely unable to fix it or change it or make it right. The Hanged Man often represents a new perspective, seeing things from a different angle, gaining wisdom through sacrifice. And that is exactly what this person is experiencing. They are finally seeing your connection from your perspective. They are finally understanding what it felt like to be on the receiving end of their hot and cold behavior. They are finally grasping what you were actually offering them and what it meant. This shift in perspective is giving them wisdom, yes, but it is wisdom that comes too late to be useful. It is understanding that only makes their loss more painful, because now they fully comprehend what they had and how badly they messed it up. What strikes me about the Hanged Man in this reading is the element of sacrifice. This card is literally depicting a figure who is upside down, who has given something up, who is in a position of surrender. This person has had to sacrifice their ego, their pride, their sense of being in control. They have had to give up their narrative of being the one with all the power and all the options. They have had to surrender their story about why they were justified in how they treated you. All of those things have been stripped away, leaving them hanging in this vulnerable, exposed position where they can no longer hide from the truth. The Hanged Man is also about waiting and patience, but in this context, it is not peaceful waiting. It is agonizing waiting. This person is waiting for something, anything, that will release them from this suspended state. Maybe they are waiting for you to come back. Maybe they are waiting for their feelings to fade. Maybe they are waiting for time to heal their regret. Maybe they are waiting for some sign from the universe about what to do next. But the Hanged Man tells us that the waiting is not voluntary. They are stuck in it. They cannot rush the process. They cannot force resolution. They have to hang there, in discomfort, until the lesson is fully learned and the cycle is complete. What the Hanged Man is showing me is that this person feels completely powerless right now. And for someone who is so used to feeling in control, this is devastating. They cannot make you care about them. They cannot undo their past behavior. They cannot erase your memories of how they treated you. They cannot force a second chance. They cannot manipulate circumstances to their advantage. They have no moves left to make. They are just hanging there, suspended in their own consequences, unable to do anything but feel the full weight of what they created. The interesting thing about the Hangman is that it is not a card of action. It is a card of non-action, of stillness, of being forced to just be with whatever is happening without being able to change it. This person cannot take action to fix things with you. They cannot do anything to make this better. They are in a phase where all they can do is hang there and think about everything, and feel everything, and understand everything. And that forced stillness, that inability to do anything productive with their feelings, is its own special kind of torture. The Hanged Man often appears when someone needs to let go of old patterns or beliefs. And what I am seeing is that this person is being forced to let go of their belief that they can have whatever they want whenever they want it. They are being forced to release their assumption that people will always be available to them. They are being forced to surrender their idea that they can treat people casually and still maintain connection whenever they decide they want it. All of those beliefs are dying while they hang in this suspended state, and the death of those beliefs is painful, even though it is necessary for their growth. What the Hanged Man wants you to know, Taurus, is that while this person is stuck, you are free. While they are suspended in regret and unable to move forward, you are flowing into new experiences and new chapters of your life. While they are trapped in the past, replaying what was, you are creating a new future. The same force that has them frozen has liberated you. You are no longer tied to their indecision, their mixed signals, their inability to commit. You are no longer suspended in uncertainty about where you stand. You have solid ground under your feet now, while they are left hanging. The sixth card that emerged was the Ten of Pentacles. And this card is absolutely fascinating in this context because the Ten of Pentacles represents everything this person thought they did not want until they realized it is actually everything they need. This card is about stability, commitment, long-term security, family, legacy, building something that lasts. It is the card of looking at the big picture, thinking about the future, valuing what truly matters over what merely seems exciting in the moment. And the fact that this card is appearing in a reading about someone who did not value you tells me everything about what they are now realizing they destroyed. The Ten of Pentacles is showing me that you represented the possibility of something real, something lasting, something that could have grown into genuine partnership and long-term stability. You were not offering them a fling or a casual situation or something temporary to pass the time. Whether consciously or unconsciously, you were available for something substantial, something meaningful, something that could have developed into the kind of connection that actually matters in life. And this person, in their immaturity or their fear or their distraction or whatever was driving them, completely failed to recognize that you were offering them the Ten of Pentacles while they were out chasing the Fool. What this card is revealing is that this person is now at a stage in their life or rapidly approaching a stage where the things they once valued are no longer satisfying. The casual connections feel empty. The surface-level interactions feel meaningless. The ability to keep their options open feels less like freedom and more like loneliness. They are starting to crave stability, consistency, something real and substantial. They are beginning to understand that meaningful connection is actually what makes life rich, not the ability to avoid commitment. And as they come to this understanding, they are simultaneously realizing that they had exactly that possibility with you, and they destroyed it. The Ten of Pentacles often represents family and home, and what I am seeing is that this person is recognizing that you had the energy of home about you. Not in a boring way, but in a comforting, grounding, this is where I belong kind of way. When they were with you or talking to you or spending time with you, there was probably this sense of ease of not having to perform or prove anything, of just being able to be themselves. That is the energy of the Ten of Pentacles. That is what home feels like. And they took that feeling completely for granted because they did not yet understand how rare it is to find someone who makes you feel that way. What is really striking about the Ten of Pentacles in this reading is the theme of legacy and what we leave behind. This person is realizing that the way they treated you, the choices they made, the disrespect they showed, that is going to be part of their legacy. That is going to be part of their story. They are going to carry the memory of being the person who had something real and threw it away. That is going to be one of their defining life experiences, one of their biggest regrets, one of the things they wish they could go back and change. And that realization, that understanding that they created a painful legacy for themselves through their own actions is weighing on them heavily. The Ten of Pentacles is also about wealth and resources, but not just material wealth, emotional wealth, spiritual wealth, relational wealth. And this person is now understanding that you represented wealth in all those ways. You were emotionally available and generous. You offered spiritual connection and depth. You brought relational richness into their life. They were wealthy when they had access to you, but they did not recognize it. They thought wealth meant keeping their options open, maintaining independence, not being tied down. Now they are discovering that true wealth is having someone who genuinely cares, who shows up authentically, who offers real connection. And that kind of wealth, they are learning, is much harder to find than they thought. And what the Ten of Pentacles is showing me is that this person is looking at their life now and seeing how empty certain areas feel. Maybe they have material success but emotional poverty. Maybe they have lots of social connections but no real intimacy. Maybe they have freedom but no sense of belonging. Whatever the specific circumstances, they are recognizing gaps, feeling absences, noticing what is missing. And every single one of those gaps is shaped exactly like you. Every absence is the specific absence of what you brought to their life. They are wealthy in some ways, but impoverished in the ways that actually matter. And they are finally understanding that. The Ten of Pentacles wants you to know, Taurus, that you are the one who actually embodies the energy of this card. You are the one who understands the value of building something real. You are the one who recognizes that true wealth comes from genuine connection. You are the one who has the wisdom to know that temporary excitement cannot compare to lasting meaning. This person rejected the Ten of Pentacles energy you offered, but that does not diminish its value. You still carry that capacity for deep, stable, meaningful connection. You still have that to offer, just not to them anymore. And the right person, when they come along, is going to recognize immediately what this person was too blind to see. The seventh card is the Five of Swords. And oh, Taurus, this card is so telling about what really happened in your dynamic with this person. The Five of Swords is the card of conflict, of winning battles but losing wars, of prioritizing being right over being connected, of choosing ego over relationship. This card is showing me that this person thought they were winning something when they were actually losing everything. They thought they were playing it smart, maintaining their power, keeping the upper hand. What they did not realize is that every time they chose their ego, every time they put their pride first, every time they prioritized winning over connecting, they were actually defeating themselves. The Five of Swords depicts someone who has won a hollow victory, someone who is standing with their swords while others walk away, someone who got what they thought they wanted only to realize it was not worth what they paid for it. This person kept score in your relationship. They measured who was more interested, who had more power, who was winning the dynamic. And they convinced themselves they were ahead. They thought that because you were more invested, more open, more willing to make an effort, that meant they were winning. But the Five of Swords is showing me they won a completely pointless battle while losing something infinitely valuable. What this card is revealing is that this person operated from a competitive mindset rather than a collaborative one. Instead of seeing your connection as something you were building together, they saw it as a game where there were winners and losers. Instead of valuing mutual vulnerability and shared investment, they were focused on making sure they were never in the weaker position, never more interested than you were, never giving more than they received. That kind of scorekeeping kills genuine connection. That kind of competitiveness destroys intimacy. And now they are left holding their swords, their tally marks, their evidence that they stayed in control, and all of it is completely meaningless without you there. The Five of Swords is also about conflict and arguments, and what I am seeing is that this person probably created unnecessary conflict or tension in your dynamic. Maybe they would pick fights over nothing. Maybe they would create distance just when things were getting close. Maybe they would say hurtful things to test your reaction or to push you away. Whatever form it took, they were engaging in self-sabotaging behavior, creating conflict where there did not need to be any. And they probably justified this to themselves as protecting their independence or not letting you get too close or maintaining their boundaries. But really, they were just scared of real intimacy and using conflict as a way to avoid it. What strikes me about the Five of Swords in this reading is the theme of regret that comes with Pyrrhic victories. The person in the Five of Swords wins the battle, but realizes too late that the victory cost them everything that actually mattered. This person successfully kept their walls up, successfully maintained their emotional distance, successfully protected their ego and their pride. Congratulations to them, right? Except now they are realizing that all those successful defenses just defended them right out of something meaningful. They won the battle of staying guarded and lost the war of actual connection. The Five of Swords is showing me that this person is now experiencing a very specific kind of regret. It is not just I wish things had gone differently. It is I actively made things go this way through my own choices, and now I have to live with that. They cannot blame circumstances. They cannot blame you. They cannot blame bad timing or miscommunication. They made deliberate choices to prioritize their ego, to keep score, to stay in control. And every single one of those choices led directly to where they are now, which is alone with their victory that feels like defeat. What this card is telling me is that this person is also dealing with the social consequences of their behavior. The Five of Swords often represents damaged reputation and losing respect in the eyes of others. People in your mutual circles might know how this person treated you. They might have seen the disrespect, witnessed the taking for granted, noticed the lack of appreciation, and those people have formed opinions. Those people have made judgments. This person is not just dealing with losing you, they are dealing with how losing you reflects on them as a person. They are grappling with what their behavior says about their character. The Five of Swords is also showing me that this person tried to walk away from your connection, feeling like they were the one who ended things on their terms, like they were the one who decided when and how it ended, like they maintained control all the way through. But the truth that is now hitting them is that they did not win anything. They just lost. And the way they lost, the reasons they lost, are entirely on them. You did not take anything away from them. You did not damage or destroy what you had. They did that all by themselves through their own competitive, ego-driven, fear-based behavior. What the Five of Swords wants you to understand, Taurus, is that you were never in competition with this person. You were never trying to win or dominate or maintain the upper hand. You were just being authentic and hoping for authenticity in return. You were just caring and hoping for care in return. You were just showing up and hoping they would show up too. The fact that they turned genuine connection into a battlefield says everything about where they were emotionally and nothing about your worth or value. You did not lose this battle because you were never fighting it. You just walked away from someone who could not stop fighting long enough to actually connect. The 8th card is the Ten of Wands. And when this card appeared, I immediately felt the weight of burden, exhaustion, and overwhelming responsibility that this person is carrying now. The Ten of Wands is the card of being overloaded, of carrying too much, of struggling under the weight of obligations and pressures that have become too heavy to bear. And what this card is showing me in your situation is that this person is now burdened by the full weight of their regret, their loss, their understanding of what they destroyed. It is not a light sadness. It is not a passing wistfulness. It is a heavy, constant, crushing weight that they carry with them everywhere. What the Ten of Wands is revealing is that this person cannot escape their thoughts about you. Those thoughts are like heavy sticks they have to carry, and they just keep adding more weight as more realizations hit them, as more memories surface, as more understanding dawns. Every time they think about a moment they took for granted, that is another wand added to their burden. Every time they recognize another way they failed to value you, that is more weight on their shoulders. Every time they compare a new person to you and find them lacking, that is another heavy stick they have to carry. The load just keeps getting heavier. The Ten of Wands often represents taking on too much responsibility. And what I am seeing is that this person is taking on the full responsibility for what happened. And that weight is enormous. They cannot split the blame. They cannot make this partially your fault. They cannot convince themselves that external circumstances were to blame. They know, deep in their core, that this loss is entirely on them. They had something good, and they destroyed it through their own behavior. That level of personal responsibility, that complete ownership of a major life mistake, is incredibly heavy to carry. What strikes me about the Ten of Wands in this reading is the exhaustion factor. This person is tired. They are tired of thinking about you. They are tired of the emotional roller coaster. They are tired of the regret. They are tired of comparing everyone to you. They are tired of the guilt. They are tired of the self-recrimination. But they cannot put any of it down. They cannot set the burden aside. They cannot take a break from these feelings. The wands have to be carried, the weight has to be borne, and there is no relief in sight. The Ten of Wands is also showing me that this person is finding it hard to move forward with anything else in their life because they are so weighed down by this situation. Their regret about you is affecting their work, their other relationships, their ability to be present for anything. Everything feels harder because they are carrying this massive emotional burden. They try to focus on other things, but the weight is always there, pulling their attention back, making everything more difficult than it should be. What the Ten of Wands is telling me is that this person wants relief. They want to put this burden down. They want to stop thinking about you, stop regretting, stop feeling the weight of their mistakes, but they do not know how. They cannot figure out how to release this. They cannot find a way to lighten the load. And part of the reason they cannot release it is because deep down, they know they do not deserve relief yet. They know they have not suffered enough to balance out what they did. They know the burden is appropriate given the magnitude of what they lost. The Ten of Wands wants you to understand, Taurus, that while this person is weighed down and struggling, you are becoming lighter. Every step you take away from this situation releases you from weight you did not need to carry. Every day that passes frees you a little more from the burden of caring about someone who did not properly value that care. You are shedding weight while they are accumulating it. You are finding ease while they are finding struggle. The burden they carry now is the burden they created for themselves, and it is not your responsibility to help them carry it or to lighten their load in any way. The 9th card that came through was the Knight of Pentacles. And this card is particularly interesting because it represents everything this person wishes they had been but was not. The Knight of Pentacles is reliable, consistent, steady, committed, patient. This knight does not rush. This knight does not make promises they cannot keep. This knight shows up day after day, doing the work, building something solid. This knight understands the value of loyalty and dedication. And the appearance of this card is showing me that this person is now recognizing all the ways they failed to embody any of these qualities in their connection with you. What the Knight of Pentacles is revealing is that this person is now understanding what real commitment looks like, what genuine consistency means, what it actually takes to build something lasting with another person. And that understanding is painful because they are seeing so clearly how far they fell short. They were not reliable. They were not consistent. They were not patient. They did not show up the way they should have. They did not do the work that real relationship requires. They were more like the Knight of Swords, rushing in and out, making impulsive decisions, focused on their own agenda, lacking the steadiness that creates security. The Knight of Pentacles is also showing me that this person is now in a phase where they wish they could demonstrate the qualities they failed to show before. They wish they could prove to you now that they understand what commitment means, that they have learned what consistency requires, that they finally grasp the importance of showing up. But the Knight of Pentacles energy is also about timing and patience. And what this card is telling them is that it is too late. The time for demonstrating those qualities was when they actually had access to you. The opportunity to be steady and reliable and committed was during your connection, not after it ended. What strikes me about the Knight of Pentacles in this reading is the theme of practical reality versus fantasy. This Knight deals with what is real, what is tangible, what actually exists in the material world. And what this person is learning through painful experience is that you were real. You were tangible. You were actually there, available, interested, caring. You were not a fantasy or a possibility or a maybe someday option. You were a real person offering real connection in real time, and they treated you like a fantasy they could pick up and put down whenever they felt like it. They treated something real with the carelessness usually reserved for daydreams. The Knight of Pentacles is also about building wealth slowly and steadily over time. And what I am seeing is that this person is now understanding that meaningful relationships are built exactly that way. You do not create deep connection through sporadic bursts of attention. You do not build trust through inconsistent behavior. You do not develop intimacy through occasional grand gestures surrounded by long periods of neglect. Real connection is built through steady, consistent, daily choices to show up, to care, to invest. And this person made none of those steady choices. They were all sporadic energy and no sustained effort. What the Knight of Pentacles is showing me is that this person is also recognizing their own capacity for commitment in other areas of their life and wondering why they could not bring that same energy to you. Maybe they are responsible at work, showing up every day, doing what needs to be done. Maybe they are consistent with their friends, reliable when people need them. Maybe they are dedicated to their goals, working steadily toward what they want to achieve. So why could they not bring that same Knight of Pentacles energy to your connection? Why did they fail to show up for you with the same reliability they show up for other things? That question is haunting them now. The Knight of Pentacles wants you to know, Taurus, that you deserved exactly this kind of steady, reliable, committed energy. You deserve someone who showed up consistently, who did the work of building connection, who treated your relationship as something valuable worth investing in daily. The fact that this person could not or would not provide that energy does not mean you were asking for too much. It means they were not capable of giving what a real relationship requires. And the beautiful thing is that the Knight of Pentacles energy exists in the world. There are people who naturally embody this steady, committed, reliable approach to love. You just have not met your Knight of Pentacles yet, but they are out there, and they will know exactly how to value what you offer. The 10th and final card is the Eight of Cups, and this card is absolutely perfect as the closing energy of this reading because the Eight of Cups is the card of walking away, of leaving behind what no longer serves, of having the courage to turn your back on something familiar in search of something more meaningful. And what this card is showing me is that this is exactly what you did, Taurus. You walked away. You left. You turned your back on a situation that was not honoring you, that was not giving you what you deserved, that was keeping you in a perpetual state of uncertainty and undervaluation. The Eight of Cups is revealing that your departure, your decision to walk away, is what completely shattered this person's world. As long as you were there, as long as you were available, as long as you were willing to accept whatever crumbs they threw your way, they could maintain their comfortable position. They could keep their options open, they could continue treating you casually. But when you left, when you actually walked away, when you demonstrated through action that you were done accepting less than you deserve, everything changed. The Eight of Cups represents your power move. The moment you took your power back and used it to remove yourself from a situation that was not serving your highest good. What strikes me most about the Eight of Cups in this position is the courage it represents. Walking away is never easy, especially from someone you cared about, especially when part of you hoped things might change, especially when there were good moments mixed in with the disappointing ones. But you found the strength to do it anyway. You found the courage to choose yourself, to prioritize your own well-being, to refuse to continue participating in a dynamic where you were undervalued. And that decision, that brave choice to walk away, is what this person is crying about now. The Eight of Cups shows a figure walking away from 8 cups, leaving them behind, heading toward mountains in the distance. Those cups represent what could have been, what was offered, what existed between you. And this person is now staring at those cups, at what remains of your connection, and they are devastated by what they see. They are seeing cups that were filled with your care, your attention, your genuine interest, your authentic feelings. They are seeing everything you offered laid out in front of them, and they are seeing that you have walked away from all of it, leaving them there alone with the evidence of what they failed to value. What the Eight of Cups is telling me is that this person cannot stop you. They cannot call you back. They cannot convince you to turn around. You are walking toward your own mountains, your own journey, your own higher ground. You are moving toward something better, something more aligned with your worth, and they are being left behind in the valley, surrounded by the remnants of what you offered them, unable to do anything except watch you go and realize what they lost. The Eight of Cups is also showing me that this person is finally understanding that you were serious. You were not playing games. You were not trying to manipulate them or make them chase you or create jealousy. When you left, you really left. When you walked away, you genuinely walked away. There was no hidden agenda, no secret hope that they would come running after you, no strategy to make them miss you. You simply recognized that the situation was not honoring you, and you had the self-respect to remove yourself from it. And that genuine, authentic departure is what is killing them now because they realize you are not coming back. What the Eight of Cups wants you to understand, Taurus, is that your willingness to walk away is one of your greatest strengths. It shows that you know your worth. It demonstrates that you will not settle for less than genuine connection. It proves that you have the courage to be alone rather than accept being undervalued. This person thought they could keep you in limbo forever, thought you would always be there waiting for them to finally decide you were worth their full attention. Your departure shattered that assumption completely. You showed them, through your actions, that you are not someone who waits around for people to recognize your value. You are someone who walks toward what honors you and away from what does not. So Taurus, as I look at all these cards laid out, as I feel into the full energy of this reading, what I am seeing is a complete story of karmic reversal. Someone who took you for granted, who operated from ego and strategy rather than authenticity, who failed to value what was right in front of them, is now experiencing the full weight of those choices. They are stuck in regret, burdened by understanding that came too late, surrounded by memories that now torture rather than comfort, experiencing the downward turn of fortune's wheel, hanging in suspended animation with no way forward. Meanwhile, you are the one who walked away with your dignity intact, with your self-respect reinforced, with your understanding of your own worth deepened. You are the one moving toward new horizons while they are stuck staring at what they lost. You are the one getting lighter while they are getting more burdened. You are the one rising while they are falling. This person is crying for you now, yes. They are feeling everything they should have felt when they had the chance to act on those feelings. They are recognizing everything they should have recognized when that recognition could have made a difference. They are understanding everything they should have understood when you were actually there to receive that understanding. But all of it is too late. The wheel has turned. Justice has balanced the scales. You have walked away toward your own path, and they are left in the valley of their own making, surrounded by evidence of what they destroyed, crying for something they can never get back. The cards want you to know that this is not about gloating or taking pleasure in someone else's pain. This is about understanding that the universe does maintain balance, that people do eventually face the consequences of how they treat others, that your decision to walk away was absolutely the right one. You honored yourself. You chose your own well-being. You refused to accept less than you deserve. And that decision freed you while simultaneously showing this person exactly what they lost. You gave them real connection, authentic care, genuine interest. You offered them something rare and valuable. They treated it carelessly. They took it for granted. They failed to recognize the gift they were being given. And now they know. Now they understand. Now they see clearly what was right in front of them all along. But that clarity changes nothing for you. You have already moved on. You are already walking toward your mountains, toward your own journey, toward connections that will actually honor what you bring to the table. So let them cry, Taurus. Let them sit with their regret. Let them carry the weight of understanding what they lost. Let them hang in the suspended animation of consequences they created for themselves. That is their journey now. That is their lesson to learn. That is the natural result of failing to value something precious. Your journey is completely different. Your path is about recognizing your own worth so clearly that you will never again accept being treated as optional. Your lesson is about understanding that walking away from what does not serve you is not giving up. It is leveling up. Your future is about remaining open to genuine connection while having firm boundaries about what you will and will not accept. The person who did not value you is learning their lesson through loss. You already learned yours through the experience of being undervalued and choosing yourself anyway. You are ahead of them in every way that matters. You are free while they are trapped. You are moving forward while they are stuck. You are becoming more while they are diminishing under the weight of their own regret. This weekend, someone who did not value you was crying for you. The cards confirm it. The energy is clear. The karmic balance has been restored. And you, beautiful Taurus, you are exactly where you need to be, walking away from what did not honor you and toward everything that will.